becoming one of the elite receivers in the Canadian Football League.
In motion. Hands it off to Steph Logan. Logan has about 7 or 8 yards. Steph Logan again part of this backfield that could be very potent. What a bit of weaponry for the BC Lions when they have the smallish Logan, who's more of a slash and dash guy, and that dual threat Andrew Harris, who can run and crash and bash but also get the ball out of the backfield on a swing pass.
Well, both those guys in space are among the most dangerous players in the league. That's why you see Andrew Harris catching as many passes as he is in the early going.
2nd and 2. There's the first down. And Butler makes the tackle along with Damon Washington and Zach Anderson. They will move the chains. And so the Lions offense trying to get rolling here. Something they did at will last week against the visiting Montreal Alouettes.
Well, and one of the things I like about seeing Steph Logan get involved early is the speed, the threat that he offers to get out on the edge. Travis Lulay, they used a lot in bootleg type stuff to threaten the edge of the defense. Now with Lulay out, Kevin Glenn, that's not really part of Kevin Glenn's game, not much of a runner. With Logan in there, they threaten the corners.
Glenn fires, and it's picked off. Mo Leggett has it. Maurice Leggett up near the 50-yard line. And there's a penalty flag on that tackle. The rookie, Maurice Leggett, back in the lineup. Missed the last 2 games with an ankle issue and makes his presence felt here. A takeaway for Winnipeg.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 55. It's a 15-yard penalty after the interception. First down.
Wow, costly one. Great pick by Leggett. Kansas City Chief back in 2008. He was their top rookie.
It's on now.
There he is, the former Kansas City Chief, AFLer as well out of Valdosta State. Mo Leggett.
Well, we saw a couple series ago the range that he shows getting sideline to sideline over the top to help out. This time it results in a pick, and for Kevin Glenn, if it wasn't bad enough to throw an interception, how about seeing the 4 biggest guys on the defense coming at you?
Blue Bombers scrimmage from the 45. Instantaneously, Willie threads the needle and finds Grigsby. For Kevin Glenn, he threw 6 interceptions in his first 2 games, none in his next 2, so that's his first in 3 games, but that's now 7 picks in the early season for Kevin Glenn, matching what he did all of 2013.
Not what the BC Lions were looking for from Kevin Glenn, particularly those first couple of weeks of the season.
2nd and 5. This is where the Lions have been awfully good on 2nd downs. Willie stands in and almost picked by Solomon Alamimian. Robbie Bryant was the intended target. There is a penalty flag back at the 18-yard line. It looks like interference.
It did appear that Dante Marsh obstructed the receiver, Robbie Bryant, as he tried to get inside to that ball.
Pass interference, BC number 31. Spot of the foul, first down Winnipeg.
So Bryant is on the outside. He's trying to fight for position on Dante Marsh to get inside to this football, but you're going to see him impeded as he tries to work inside.
Robbie Bryant back with Winnipeg, where it all began. To Calgary for a while, then to Toronto. Willie now going to the end zone. Incomplete. Looking for Bryant again, and Cord Parks shadowing him.
Well, Drew Willie gets a little bit of a pump fake look here. You're going to see Robbie Bryant work towards the corner. Takes off and accelerates after the pump fake, and you watch the separation right there. But this ball hangs up a little too much air on it. Allows Cord Parks to close and break it up. Willie knows that's one that he let get away.
Again, the Lions have have been bending, but they don't break. They have not given up a touchdown in quite some time. There goes Drew Willie, but look out. Adam Bighill spied him to perfection. And once again, the Bombers are going to have to settle for a field goal.
Adam Bighill, one of the most productive defenders in the Canadian Football League over the last couple of seasons. Got his big break when Solomon Elimimian decided to test the NFL waters. Bighill became a starter. When Elimimian came back, there was no way you could get number 44 off the field, so he moved from the middle to the will linebacker position. He gets to use his great athleticism. You've got Elimimian patrolling the middle. Pretty dynamic 1-2 punch on defense.
What a great tag team those two provide. Hajrullahu again. Now 3 for 3 tonight. And the Blue Bombers open up a 9-0 lead. There's Nick Moore. Back in a house he used to call his own. BC place, wearing blue and gold. The Bombers up by 3 field goals. Friends, former teammates, now rivals. Nick Moore, Emmanuel Arsenault. With more, here's Sarah.
Well, Rod, how perfect that on a night in which the BC Lions honor Geroy Simon. This game features 2 top receivers who learned from Simon in former teammates Manny Arsenault and Nick Moore. Now, Nick Moore and Arsenault are the best of friends. Arsenault says that they communicate almost every day. Moore was surprised when he got the shout out after Arsenault's touchdown last week. He hopes that the Bombers don't let him into the end zone this week. But should either of them get into the end zone, we hear that both of them have some sort of celebration planned.
Yeah, from what we understand, Nick Moore is thinking about something called the Shmoney. The Shmoney dance. Yeah, and Emmanuel Arsenault, well, it would only be appropriate. End zone. It might have something to do with that guy named Geroy.
A little tricky.
We'll see, though. So far, defenses have dominated again, and the foot of Liram Hajrullahu has provided the only scoring. As you might expect in this game, 2 very good defenses come in against each other. Here come the Bombers, and Glenn is rocked. And there goes Arsenault. First down, Lions, but again, Kevin Glenn was turfed.
And it's right up the middle, Zach Anderson, right on the center. But a lot of confusion for the BC Lions. Again, there's that young offensive line, and the thing about playing the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they're going to give you a ton of different looks. Talking to some of the BC staff, they said last week in watching film, they saw over 50 different looks from that Blue Bombers front over the course of the game.
There's Manny Arsenault cutting back, and Manny Arsenault knows that Superman will be in the house tonight.
It's a trademark, and that's just Geroy move. Like, if I just see Superman, you think of Geroy. You hear Geroy, you think of Superman. So that's his move. You know, I'm gonna have to text him tonight and be like, Geroy, you don't mind if I pull it out one time. So I'm gonna see if he give me the green light. Oh man, it's gonna be Superman everywhere. So the fans might boo, they might not understand, but hey, if I get in the end zone, they better get ready for the Simon pose, because it's coming.
Well, Manny Arsenault found the end zone 3 times last week. Not here so far tonight. Geroy Simon found it many, many times in a glorious career. Again, it's Geroy Simon night tonight. At halftime, they will honor the Lions great. 2nd down and 10 now. Good protection now, Glenn. Feels some duress. There's a penalty flag, and this is going to come back. It's going to be holding against BC, affording Glenn some protection.
Holding BC number 54. The penalties declined. 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd down now, and once again, this Lion offense sputtering out of the blocks tonight.
And Winnipeg starting to get a little bit of pressure. Again, as they start to mix things up a bit at the line of scrimmage. Communication of that offensive line is going to be so important in terms of getting everybody into position.
Maybe
aware of their assignments.
Maybe some confusion against that Gary Echeverry defense so far here tonight. 4 punts, And an interception from the Lions offense. And Woods brought down near the 33-yard line. So maybe we'll see Manny being Manny tonight, and maybe even being Superman. As Wendy's Friday Night Football continues from Vancouver. You've got questions, Dwayne Ford? Discovery Science is the channel that has the answers. Free preview is on right now. Check your local TV listings. Right now, BC Lions have no answers for Gary Echeverry's defense.
Yeah, the man of 1,000 looks defensively. The one main premise of this defense, run and hit.
BC's defense doing a good job so far as well. Bombers haven't been able to penetrate the goal line, and there goes Nick Grigsby, brought down by Adam Bighill and Alex Bazzi in the backfield.
Yeah, great force on the front side of this play from the defensive end, Bazzi and linebacker Bighill. Grigsby wants to get around the corner. Bighill's right out on the edge, left side of your screen. Both those guys drive upfield. Don't give them a chance to turn the corner.
Again, that Blue Bomber O-line with a different look this week. At guard and tackle as well. Three-man rush, shovel pass, goes nowhere. Eric Taylor. A human area code right in the backfield. What a week it was for Eric Taylor last week. Tried to rumble to the end zone, was caught on a blocked kick against Montreal, but one of the most underrated D linemen in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, and all he does is produce. Great leader on that defensive line, steady performer, true professional. Eric Taylor.
Yeah, does all of his talking on the field. Khalif Mitchell usually beside him. Mitchell not playing again tonight, almost blocked. Tim Brown, it's got room. Tim Brown spins and goes down into Bomber territory. Good field position for Kevin Glenn and company, but let's go back to that block last week. And this block here tonight, you see Hairolahu almost getting that blocked. Well, last week, BC did block Montreal.
Major foul.
Sean White.
Yeah, the big boys teamed up. Cream Smith with the block. He couldn't scoop it up, but Eric Taylor did. Tries to use that little swim move to get inside. Couldn't quite get enough momentum going to carry him to the end zone, but it generated some momentum for his team that carried them to a victory.
Brought back memories of Refrigerator Perry running with the football, and adding to that return by Tim Brown, a face mask call against Winnipeg. Inside the 30-yard line now for Kevin Glenn. Quickly, fires, slap pattern, Sean Gore down to the red zone.
And Sean Gore, the former first-round pick out of Bishop's University. He's just going to hit the quick slant here. Great spin move off the middle linebacker, Ian Wild, before he turns it up.
Deepest downfield the Lions have been so far tonight. Under 6 to go before halftime. A chance to put some points on the board here. There goes Arsenault. Lunges forward. Tracked down. Brought down. Carl Volney, the tackle.
It looked like Arsenault just started losing his footing a little bit there as he went to turn it upfield. And it was the halfback, Bruce Johnson, actually, that came up to make the tackle on that one.
Second down and 5 now. Six receivers set for Glenn. And Courtney Taylor has his first catch. It'll be first and goal for the Lions. Taylor fast becoming one of Kevin Glenn's favorite targets so far for the Lions. That's his 19th catch of the season.
You see Courtney Taylor in the slot now. It looked like there was a little opportunity on the backside of this. Nice rub from Stefan Logan there to free up Taylor for the quick hitter. Keep an eye, as I said, the backside of that play looked like it was open with both Arsenault and Gore. We'll see if they try to work to that side of the field.
Andrew Harris head down inside the 5-yard line. It's been a 50-50 proposition for the Lions inside the red zone. Inside that 20-yard line this season. Operating at 50% for touchdowns as we tick down to 4 minutes before halftime. There's former Bomber great Kahari Jones. He and Kevin Glenn linked so many times through the years to be teammates, as a matter of fact. Glenn is going to throw, looks end zone, and unable to come up with it. An overthrow on Manny Arsenault. And Mike Benavides is going to go for the points here. He'll bring out Paul McCallum.
Arsenault's just going to head for the post. Little stem outside, break it inside, try and get it quickly. But the overthrow from Kevin Glenn. And he knows it.
Oh, the ageless one, Paul McCallum, the oldest player in the league. 44, 22 seasons. 2,903 points. Make it 2,906. 9 of 10 in the early season for a guy who has flirted with perfection before, Paul McCallum. So the Lions are on the board. Again, very interesting that both of these kickers have had to become both dual kicker and punters tonight because of injuries. Ricky Schmidt for BC and Mike Renault for Winnipeg. So they're doing what kickers used to do, kick and punt. Wendy's live at the half coming up with Rod, Jock, Matt, and Schultze. And of course, coming up at halftime here, I think it would be a very emotional night for G. Roy Simon. And a guy that kind of ended uncomfortably here for G. Roy Simon in many ways. Simon, of course, everybody thought would have been a lifer here, would have ended his career as a BC Lion, but ended up going to Saskatchewan, of course, and ending it up in glory with a Grey Cup championship. Now working with the Rough Riders. But as he said in the locker room before the game, there's a guy who still bleeds orange. They'll honor him at halftime. Woods has a couple blocks here, has a shake one, a couple of missed tackles. Aaron Woods gets it up to the 27-yard line, a return of 9. Looking close to the 3-minute warning before halftime.
Willie will go back to work, former 4-year starter at the University of Buffalo, where his quarterback coach, former CFL player and coach Danny Barrett. The two still talk regularly, especially a little exchange of texts on game day.
He owns all of Buffalo's records for passing. Play action. Willie, wobbler to the sideline, and it's caught there by Brett Carter. His first CFL catch. Guy who was on the practice roster. Junior football player from the Winnipeg Rifles.
The passer. BC number 91. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So roughing the passer adds to this. Brandon Jordan in the lineup tonight. Not too close to Drew Willie. So Brett Carter has his first catch. Bombers moving the football with the lead and this penalty.
Play Safeway $1 Million touchdown.